the recent scientific findings on yoga. So I had occasion to come across these findings where it says yoga has got um, a low to very low um, positive influence on reducing stress, and it is recommended mild therapy to be included together with um, medication or medical treatment. So I disagree with that findings, and I will discuss the reasons why in this video. So for those who like the contents of my video, please also do not forget to like and subscribe to my channel. This will greatly help my channel to be able to reach out to more people. And if you could also, do me the favor of sharing with at least one other person, and even if you can give me, your comments, this will, be highly appreciated, and I thank you in advance for it. Okay. For those who don't know me, I am Osman. I'm a bioenergy healer on a master level with telepathic healing capability, and specializing in critical care recovery and terminal illnesses. I'm also, able to heal, amongst other illnesses like, physiological, psychological, as well as spiritual ailments. Um, and I have a special promotion running, which there's no end date to it, because I've tried to encourage more people, to take my healing services and to experience the telepathic healing capability. 10 minutes of anxiety fix for just $5, right? Less than a cup of Starbucks coffee. So also I'm an advanced level yoga and meditation teacher. Um, uh, in that period, I've been practicing for almost 50 years, and teaching for 44 years. In that period, I've studied under various masters from different schools of thought, from different cultures, as well as across the globe. And I've created my own unique protocols adapted for the 21st century, making things much easier, quicker, faster, and results orientated in a short space of time. And to that end, I now have students in over 100 countries, and I have a special program, my favorite one, a 5-minute yoga and meditation program, which you can download for free in return to subscribing to my blog. You can visit my website, yogawellness786.com, and where you can also get more information on my services. Also, remember, my therapies are all natural based and not a replacement for medical treatment. So, coming to this scientific study, the scientific study says that yoga has got a low to very low, effect. It means very mildly influencing the reduction of stress, and anxiety, on a mild level. So, it is a good complement for medical treatment. So, with regard to it being a good complement for medical treatment, I agree with that part. With regard to medical treatment being the core of any, or the first step or the foundation, I agree with that, because you never know, how serious your illness is, and the medical science is not like a separate field. It's just for you to scientifically find out through testing what exactly is the cause of your problem, because maybe something, you don't know. You're thinking it's a simple headache. Maybe it's, a tumor. Maybe it's, low mercury, or very high mercury, or whatever it is, right? So how are you going to know if you don't test? Testing gives you, it's not like you submitting to a whole different, and you abandoning things that are natural and so forth. It is more to gain knowledge, scientifically, empirically, what is wrong. And of course, there could be things that you cannot, find out with the natural instruments and the scientific instruments, because the human body is so complex. There are only, certain things that the empirical instruments can measure. They can't measure, the subtle energies and the subtle levels and the subtle problems, right? Yet. So there are some. I mean, I know the Chinese have invented an instrument in the 1980s, which is like a half a century ago, right? And almost, and to be able to measure the strength of the subtle life force energy in someone, because sometimes this is very low, and you can do some natural therapies to build that up, as well. So coming back to my disagreement, as I said at the beginning of the video, I disagree. So the part that I disagree is low to very low. So do I disagree with the actual finding? No, I don't disagree with the actual finding, but I disagree with the modus operandi, right? The way in which they calculate over the time period and the combination. So doing, of course, I mean, they just calculating because it's very popular for people to perform the yoga postures, right? And they're just doing the calculation over a limited time period, and usually it's over a 6 to 8 week period, right? So one needs to understand what is the correct way of doing the postures, because sometimes you can't just do it like a stretching exercise, a stretching sequence. There is a certain way in which to do it to get the benefit, of the yoga postures. So I would like to know if how the postures were carried out, right? So, for example, I have the 5 minute free yoga and meditation program, which is downloadable from our website, yogawellness786.com. And in there, I only do three postures and a 2 minute meditation all within 5 minutes, right? Each posture for half a minute and a half a minute break, three postures, 3 minutes total with the three breaks, and a 2 minute meditation. But you start feel a very mild result, from that very 5 minutes, because you're doing it the correct procedure. So, and also the correct postures, because many of the postures are more balancing postures, and not geared towards aligning your energy channels and your increasing the subtle life force energy in your body. So the way so the postures, the key postures also is important, which key postures they do. So I'm sure they might have included the key, because these are very popular postures, so I have no doubt that they included it. But it is very important you don't just follow one posture after another. This is not how you perform yoga. You have to do, after each posture, you have to have a 1 to 2 minute break, right? At least minimum the amount of time that you stayed in the posture. This is the minimum. So if you, for example, stayed in the princess posture, like the head to knee, just the legs spread out forward, and you grab your ankles and you bring your forehead towards your knee, right? Feeling the stretch in your lower back, and spreading across the upper back eventually as well. But especially feeling the stretch at the lower back, right? And you go and feel a gentle stretch, not beyond your capacity and not harming yourself, right? So when you bring and you stay in that position, so if you're suffocating to breathe, this release a bit, you must be able to breathe naturally as well, and be able to stay in it with a gentle stretch for at least half a minute, right? So, and then if you're staying, for example, for half a minute, this is for very beginners, right? So, if someone's coming to a yoga class, that I'm conducting, so I get them to hold it for a minimum of 2 minutes, and very often we do it for 5 minutes, right? So basically, I count to 100 5 times, right? And we hold that posture, and then we lay down for the 2 to 5 minutes, right? So the what I normally tell the customers is, or my students, is that 80% of the benefit of the posture comes when you are relaxing. So you just lay back in the corpse posture or savasana. So you just to lay back flat on your back, with your feet slightly apart, your hands, facing more or less upwards, because it's going to be bending, inwards due to the angle of the arm, and slightly away from, your body on either side, and then close your eyes and just totally relax. Just totally focus. Don't focus on breathing, nothing. Just totally relax. Only relax, like you fully and completely relaxed, right? And you stay in that. No thoughts, nothing. I mean, thoughts can come and go, but just try to focus. Just relax, 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 right? For the minimum the amount of time. So if we did for 2 minutes, we'll relax for 2 minutes. If we did for 5 minutes, we'll relax for 5 minutes, right? So I prefer if someone comes in, we do it for 5 minutes, and I don't force people beyond the measure, just to hold it gentle. And usually we do about 7 postures in total, and I teach them, a basic of a headstand and so forth. But invariably, they all feel much lighter. I haven't had a single student, even, I mean, most of the people are trying it for the first time, right? I didn't find a single student that didn't feel lighter in his body, that also didn't feel more energized. He felt like you feel like you have more energy, who didn't feel more focused, right? More focused and calmer, right? Calmer and overall peaceful, peaceful, like a peace dawned on you. So this thing is significant, a significant feeling, after, of a session in my actual yoga class, where we practicing, the postures, and we do um, like a 5 to 10 minute mindfulness meditation at the end, right? And this combination is not possible to have a low to very low, result on your stress levels, is going to have a significant impact on reducing your stress levels. And if you do it every day, right, especially you must do it outdoors, preferably. If the weather's bad, of course, then you can, but this you can do it, indoors as well, right? So, but preferred outdoors is very important for the yoga posture, right? Because you must be exposed to the air and to the sunlight. So normally the afternoon setting sun or the morning rising sun, right? You do the postures like that, man. This is the correct way to do it, because the sun has got such an amazing energizing effect on your body. There is so much of evidences in hospitals that patients, in a hospital that whose bed is near the window, generally getting discharged quicker than the other patients, generally speaking, right? Of course, it depends on illness and so forth, but generally that happens. It's a significant notice. And when people are extremely ill and all medications stop working, just going outdoors for 15 to 20 minutes and in the sun, for 15 to 20 minutes a day, greatly enhances the healing capacity of the body. There's a therapeutic effect, for the sunlight. So even if it's a cloudy day, the sunlight is still coming through the clouds, right? It doesn't look like dark, pitch dark, like nighttime, right? You can notice there is some of the, sun rays that absorb. And also don't do it in the middle of the day, between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m., because the ultraviolet rays are very harsh, during that time. So try to do it, before 10 a.m. and in the morning, depending, which part of the world you are and what time, sun rises and so forth. But immediately after sunrise, when it starts warming up, it's the best time, to do the yoga postures, and it won't have a low to very low effect. It will have a very high, result. And if you just generally practice this on a regular basis, remembering the key is to hold the posture, right, for at least half a minute, and gradually bring it up to 2 minutes if you can. And as you get used to it, bring it up to 5 minutes, which should be a standard, right? Hold it. So in the original practice of the Hatha Yoga, you are considered, now this is talking thousands of years ago, right? Over 1,000 years ago. Um, uh, it's considered that you have mastered a posture if you can hold a posture for 2.5 hours, right? So when I'm saying 5 minutes, not a long time, I'm not saying hold it for 2.5 hours, right? So 5 minutes is easy. You just count to 100 naturally. One, two, three, four, five, six. So when you count naturally like that to 100, it's approximately a minute, right? Because you're counting naturally, right? You're not counting 1001, 1002. So when you count to 100, you got five fingers. You just count with your fingers 5 times 100. So that is 5 minutes, or 2 times 100 is 2 minutes, right? So this is the one thing, by holding the posture. The second thing is 80% of the benefit to go immediately after every posture, go into Savasana. Even if you're restricting time, doesn't matter. You just do one posture, just do one correctly, right? If you don't have enough time, you only have 10 minutes, do 5 minutes and 5 minutes thing, do it correctly. Don't skip the this thing, because 80% you're doing the posture, you want to get the benefit of it. It comes, that's the purpose of Savasana, or the corpse posture. You rest for the equal time, that you relax. And sometimes you may do it shorter, like a half a minute, or a minute, of the posture, but try to rest around 2 minutes. The relaxation is important, because to recalibrate and get the system, for you to get back your, sometimes you get a slightly, you know um, physically stressed, for the blood to keep flowing, better to those areas. And sometimes you slightly, to get your breathing back to, a very calm state again, it takes at least around 2 minutes, right? So I would normally recommend that, even if you take the posture for 30 seconds or a minute, do the rest for at least 2 minutes. And if you like out of time, and you're doing like the posture for, let's say, 3 to 5 minutes, and you need to, hurry things up, so a minimum 2 minutes, break, and then keep your posture also, to the 2 minutes. So let's say you're doing 3 to 5 minutes and 2 minute break. This is because you're in a hurry, right? So that can be allowed, but it is in the break 80%. So I would prefer you flip things around, doing 2 minutes of the posture and doing 3 to 5 minutes of the rest, as opposed to 3 to 5 minutes of the posture and 2 minutes of the rest, right? So this makes a significant difference in terms of how you're going to feel that very day, that after that very, practice set. You'll feel a difference when you practice that way. And then doing it outdoors in the open air, where you are exposed to natural air, right? Natural air is very therapeutic and very energizing. And when you are doing the yoga postures, you're not only flexing your muscles and your joints and your body, and squeezing your organs, you're also squeezing and flexing your energy centers, and the energy centers become more absorptive. They can absorb energy, and they would capture it from the air. From natural air, there is plenty of prana, or subtle life force energy in the air. There's so much of life force energy in the sunlight, right? And then you absorb the life force energy. It is very therapeutic. It is like life, the elixir of life, right? Sunlight. So you're getting the best of both worlds, the natural air that you're exposed to, and the sunlight. And you don't have to expose your body, right? You can just wear something loose, right? Not too many garments, but the sunlight goes through, just so that you can get some air, in your body. When you're practicing, wear loose clothing, and you don't have to be, half naked and so forth, exposed in the open. Wear, some loose clothing, and be decently dressed when you're outdoors, because you don't know who's observing and walking by, and you're exposed to the public, right? And so I'm normally wearing a loose top, and a loose, like a trainer pants, right? And a loose, a t-shirt or something, right? And this is very helpful. So then, if you do this practice, you also need to give it time, not 6 to 8 weeks. You have to do it like for a year, 2 years, minimum 6 months before you can calculate, because then it because it doesn't it's not like having a tablet. This is something natural. It takes time to gain momentum, and then I think substantive, difference can be noticed in a 6 month period, and then it stays there because you're practicing all the time. So your capacity self-healing capacity and your energeticness and your overall well-being and health significantly jumps a hurdle up. But more importantly, your spirituality becomes more, more balanced. Your subtle energies become more balanced, right? And this aids as a foundation for all your other practices. This helps meditation greatly, right? Greatly. Imagine, just to do meditation cold, and to do at least a 3 minute, a yoga session, like a warm up, right? Like how in my 5 minute yoga and meditation, you know prior to meditation, is amazing. So when you're doing breath work, pranayama, alternative nostril breathing, you find it becomes so much easier after a hatha yoga session, because it balances your energy. So this is why I would say low to very low, influence. I disagree with that. It has a very high impact on the overall wellness of your body, included if you combine that by including a lot of whole plant-based foods into your diet. I'm not saying become a vegetarian or a vegan. If you can, it's going to be amazing for you, but you have to consult with your doctor before you do such things, because, or even if you're doing it, keep checking, because maybe there's some people who's going to, the plant-based, 100% plant-based food is not well suited for, right? But it is well suited for yoga. It's designed for yoga, because you're getting a lot of the natural energy, from plant-based foods, not overcooking and cooking. They try to have them raw, like nuts and fruit and herbs, spinach, like salads, in a salad form. And once you're steaming them, lightly steam them, not overcooking them, because you're killing. Yes, you release, by cooking you release more nutrients. There's some nutrients that are not available if you eat in raw. But especially if you add the cruciferous vegetables, raw cruciferous, it's power packed with nutrients, right? If you can consume like about a pound of cruciferous vegetables a day, right, and have your omega 3s from like chia seeds or flax seeds. So don't buy crushed flax seeds, because you will lose the nitric oxide content. Once it's exposed to the air, it's lost. So the massive healing capacity from nitric oxide is lost completely, right? So you need to blend it, in cold water. You can put some ice, or just regular room temperature water, underwater, with your vegetables, and consume it, and keep it refrigerated, right? And keep it, it must be under liquid, right? So that once it's exposed to air, poof, the nitric oxide of the omega-3. So that is not very difficult. Like the key component, the key companion to yoga exercises is raw cruciferous vegetables. You can blend them or eat them, whole, and blended omega-3 flax seeds or chia seeds to be, under liquid and consumed, whole. Or if you're going to store it, store it in the fridge, and consume all that same day. Don't, wait, because you're losing its nutritional value, especially the flax seeds. It's very precious and very helpful, for healing, and the omega-3 is very important for healing. And it's, I would say, not a low to very low. It will be a very high to insanely high, companion to medical treatment, where very often, it will get you to recover so quickly that you will reduce the impact. And if you focus on this type of protocol, doing your hatha yoga, like how I said, and include the right diet, into your regimen, you will, reduce the impact on the national medical expenses if everyone does that. So it will significantly drop the illness rates and significantly improve recovery rates, you know and of course, lowering the impact on the the budget, the national budget, for medical treatment. So I hope that information helps you. Take care of yourself always.